All right. Welcome everyone to City of Greenfield City Council meeting for June 11th. Call the meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Mayor White,
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Rodriguez, Councilmember Martinez. Here. Councilmember Ortiz. Here. And Councilmember Tipton.
Present.
And we did receive an email from Mayor Pro Tem Rodriguez. Please excuse due to illness.
We did receive, he is feeling well, so.
I'll make the motion.
Okay.
So I make the motion to
Yeah,
excuse.
please make a motion.
Okay.
Motion to excuse.
Yeah, I make the motion.
All second. Then moved and seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Right. Excused. Invocation by Pastor Robert Mellon.
The mayor and council members, let's go to the Lord in prayer. Dear Heavenly Father, we give praise and honor and glory to you, for you are a loving God, a good and a gracious God. We thank you, God, for the businesses in our community. We thank you, God, for the people in our community and this opportunity for us to be able to come together and to do business for this great city. We thank you, God, for blessing us, this great place. And tonight, Lord, as we come before you, we pray for your favor. We also pray that you forgive us of our shortcomings. We pray for your wisdom, your guidance, your direction, for your help, Lord. And Lord, we also pray, God, for, of course, our law enforcement, our attorneys, the members who are voted in. Lord, we continue to lift them up to you. Now tonight, Lord, again, we pray that you help us, help this council as they deliberate the business at hand. And may you be honored and glorified in this. And we ask these things in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen.
We all please stand for the pledge.
Ready? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Agenda review.
No changes, Mr. Mayor.
Public comments from the audience regarding items not on the agenda. This portion of the agenda allows an individual the opportunity to address the council on any items not on closed session, consent calendar, public hearings, and city council business. Under state regulations, no action can be taken on non-agenda items, including issues raised under this agenda item. Members of the public should be aware of this when addressing council regarding items not specifically referenced on this agenda. Do we have any public comments?
Hello, I'm Dr. Lourdes Villarreal. This is the third time that I come to you to advocate for solutions to the two issues that I have brought before you in the past. A, the creation of a city ordinance allowing for trash bin placement on the curbside of our street, and that violators who block the trash bin spaces be fined. B, the revision of the existing camper ordinance that I believe was never meant to allow people to store such vehicles on the street, not in their driveway. It's been 24 days that my neighbor's 7-foot wide, 7-foot tall, and 12 to 13 feet long camper has been stored in front of my house. Today, besides some talking about the safety issues, I want to emphasize what that has done to my quality of life. This morning was lovely. It was beautiful. It was sunny. But imagine opening up your living room curtains or your blinds and seeing a camper as your view for 24 days, day and night. Actually, I don't open my blinds anymore, especially not at night. There's a creepy, eerie feeling seeing an abandoned camper staring back at me every night and not knowing who's in that camper. I've been told that somebody is in that camper. I don't know. I don't have the evidence yet. My house is not a campsite. It's not at a campsite. My house is not at a national park. My house is not at a mobile home park. Yet that's how I feel seeing that camper every day and every night in front of my house. You know that these are real issues. Other people have similar issues. Please place on your agenda these issues I have brought forth to you. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your comments. Anyone else in the audience? See anyone online? Correct? All right. I think we did public comments and we'll move to comments from city council.
Okay, so I'm actually going to start with exactly what Dr. Villarreal was just talking about. I'd actually like to see a follow-up on revisiting the trailer storage rules, on the 72-hour parking for trailers on the streets, and parking to allow garbage pickups and street cleaning. I know we've brought all of this up in the past. I'd actually like to see it agendized at some point, just so we can go through and start making the policy changes or the ordinance changes for that. Like I said, I know we've discussed the parking for the garbage pickup and the street cleaning multiple times, but we've never brought it back for a formal ordinance change. So I'd like to see that going forward. Next thing I've been getting a lot of complaints about commercial vehicles parking in the residential areas. We've been seeing a lot of farm trucks parked in the residential areas. And the problem that they're seeing, and they actually sent me a picture, is these farm trucks are actually very wide and they're actually sticking out into the lanes of traffic. So now you have farm trucks parked on each side of the road and you can't actually get 2 lanes of traffic through the streets. So I think, and these are all areas that are marked with no commercial vehicles. So we definitely need to see about doing something about that and about enforcing those ordinances that we already have on the book. Once again, I'm also going to say speed limits and stop signs are not optional. I've been getting a lot of complaints about people not stopping for stop signs. I've also been getting a lot of complaints about that construction entrance right there across from the AMPM. That's clearly marked construction entrance, that people are coming out of the farm worker housing onto Walnut. They don't even slow down. And I actually saw that happen this afternoon. Is a car came screaming down that construction road right onto Walnut, right straight across Walnut into the AMPM. Didn't even slow down. He was probably doing 45 straight across the street. So we definitely need to see about doing something about that. And if it is truly a construction entrance, then we need to work with Mr. Avalon to get that blocked off as such and not allow free reign for the people that are living there. Spay or neuter your pets, and I'm going to add one this time. Please make sure your pets are under control. 2 nights ago, we had several more cats killed by dogs that we know about. And at this point, a person was actually bitten by the dogs. So please make sure you have your animals under control. Please make sure you spay or neuter your animals. One of the problems I have with this one is apparently these dogs are very aggressive, and they have been offered to have them fixed for free, and the owners declined. And the owners they have now had an additional litter of puppies. So we need to make sure that we're starting to control that. I was actually under the impression that it was a state law that all pets had to be spayed or neutered. I found out that that's only for the adoptions. It is not a state law that all pets need to be spayed or neutered. However, cities can come up with ordinances to do so. I believe it may be to the point where we need to see about doing that. There is one in the county for the unincorporated county areas. There's not one in the city, so I think we may need to see about doing something about that going forward. Obviously, they make exceptions to it for certain things. We can still have the exceptions, but we need to make sure that the animals are under control and the vicious ones are definitely kept under more control. We do have some heat advisories out. Please stay hydrated. Please, again, watch out for your pets, your kids, anybody that you know that may need a little bit more assistance, the elderly, anybody who may not be able to take care of themselves or may not be willing to take care of themselves. Because sometimes it's, oh, I'm prideful, I don't want to take care of myself, I'm going to be okay. Please make sure to follow up with them and make sure they're staying cool and they're staying hydrated in this hot weather. There's a stomach flu going around. Please watch out. Please take all precautions for that. My sister-in-law just got it and gave it to my wife. So I'm trying desperately to not get it. I haven't gotten it yet. So far so good. And the last thing I have is that Councilmember Ortiz and I met with the new district manager of Rite Aid yesterday. Went very well. He understands our concerns. He understands the community's concerns. He actually is a local from the community here. So he understands just how important the Rite Aid is to the members of our community that may not be able to go to King City, Soledad, or Salinas to get prescriptions filled or to go to the drugstore. So he's definitely interested in it. He said he's got some changes he wants to make, and he's going to make a plan going forward to turn the Rite Aid around. His hands are bound a little bit because the chain is in bankruptcy, but he's got some good ideas, and he's going to be meeting with us fairly regularly going forward to make sure that it does get turned around. And that's all I have for tonight.
Right, thank you very much. Councilwoman?
Thank you, Mayor. So good evening, everyone. Buenas noches a todos. Gracias por estar aquí. Thank you for being here. So I will start by saying that, yes, we have a class of 2024 that graduated the high school. So congratulations to all our seniors. Like I was sharing before the meeting started that obviously I'm a mom of a graduate, and so I'm so excited. But there was many wonderful speeches, but there's one in particular. So I want to send a big shout out to Bruce. If you're listening, his speech was amazing. He really talked about the value of how we're setting into this new journey of adulthood, but don't forget to come back and give to your community. And it doesn't matter if you were popular, if you were the best athlete in school. What matters is, you know, the legacy that we're going to leave, the type of humans we're going to be and we're creating. So that was amazing. It was just beautiful. I did get a lot of my graduation time stopped by a resident. Well, not a resident, but he has a lot of family in town, Mr. Christopher. So if you're listening, this is for you. Some of you might know him. He's Jurgen's son. He was there and he had many concerns regarding the sign. And I did tell Jamie, community is excited about the signs, but they're complaining that they can't see the one over here coming southbound because of all the debris there. So hopefully we could cut it down, and that will make them happy that we have our signs here in town. He also talked about the Young's Museum. So hopefully maybe later on having an update where we're at with that. Among many other questions that I'm not going to go into full detail. So Chris, I am sharing that information with the mayor. It's on your table now. So with that too, I also want to highlight the amazing community that we are. I don't know if many of you caught these couple of days. What for me is always going to be known as the 98-cent store. Who doesn't know what that is? They were actually providing free water and soda for our residents because of the heat wave. They literally had the sign out there in their business, and I really wanted to just kind of give them a shout out because there's no need for them to do that, but they wanted to do it because that's who we are. That is the heart of the valley. So big shout out to them. So support them, go in there, buy. They have amazing things. Just go in there and support the business. Also, I want to talk about the great work that SoberGrad did. I know my son had a fun time there. Also going into our youth and why is it important for them to get involved. Like many of you know, we do have a LULAC chapter. here in town. And why do you get involved with LULAC? It's not just that they're troublemakers, like some people would like want to label them. They're actually getting involved and making sure that the community has a voice. And with that voice, it's also encouraging the youth to speak up. So tomorrow there's a big ceremony happening. I know, Mayor, you won't be there. Hopefully we'll have our Mayor Pro Tem there to be able to give a speech to the two recipients. They're getting $1,000 scholarship each. And that's just for getting involved. I mean, they didn't have to build a house. They didn't have to go knock doors. You just get involved, go to their meetings, make sure that your voices and your concerns are heard as well. So kudos to them. So for you youngsters out there, please get involved because LULAC is continuing to give out scholarships. And these two recipients from the scholarship also got an invitation to the LULAC National Conference, well, they're calling it /Youth Academy in Las Vegas, and they're getting a trip, all expenses paid, just to be able to go out there and share what they've been doing. And so that's amazing. That's coming up at the end of this month. So thank you, LULAC, for doing the work that they're doing. Also, one of the things that I want to mention again with the youth, we do have that legislative opportunity. Like many of you know, with Supervisor Lopez, with Assembly Member Rivas, Speaker Rivas, and Senator Caballero, we do have that opportunity and there's a deadline. So apply, you get to visit the Capitol, you get to learn about politics. And I believe there's some other rewards that I don't want to say that might not even happen, but they're there. It's a good opportunity for the youth. And then also I had some concerns, Chief, and this is going to be through you, Chief and City Manager Wood, regarding Patriot Park. I have some complaints regarding with parking, the big trucks parking out there, vehicles being hit. So we might just go out there and see what's going on. But I know that that's one of the complaints I heard over the weekend from a community resident from that area. Also, I want to give a shout out again to the amazing work that the community is doing. Pastora Lugo, she's doing an amazing job. She is, part of that faith community that you're supposed to do the teachings of the Lord and give back to your community, not just take from your community. And so she's constantly hosting these food workshops. They're providing free food to our campesinos in conjunction with Líderes Campesinas. So Pastora Lugo, amazing work, what she's doing out there. And it's free, no questions asked. So if you know that there's a community in need, a community member, send them that way and they will get the free box of fresh veggies from a local organic garden in Monterey County. So that's amazing that we're able to do that. Also, one thing before I wrap it up, and I thought, Chief, yeah, he's back there. I see him. I see you, Chief, hiding behind Ms. Villarreal. There's a question asked about community members when it comes to, I know back a couple of years, we talked about the visibility of businesses, but I've had several concerns, especially with this heat wave coming our way and has been here already. Some businesses are really tight. There's no visibility from the outside. You walk into that business, there's no ventilation happening. The spaces are very tight. In case of a fire, there's only one exit. And just thinking about how many people are going to be running that exit. So it's a huge concern, especially right now with our weather, our temperature. So if maybe City Manager Wood and both chiefs could have that discussion, what can we do about making sure that our community is safe when they're out there shopping? And so with that, I'm just going to close up by saying that I want to send a huge happy birthday to a legend in Greenfield, because he is a legend. Juan Manuel Moran, who is a union leader with the UFW. He's been in this movement for many years. He just turned 70 over the weekend. He had a huge celebration in town. And this is why he was the legend, because to have the president of the United Farm Workers Union here, Teresa Romero, to attend that ceremony really says a lot about his legacy. So Juan Manuel Moran, if you see him out in the community, because I know many of you know who he is, you'll find him at Tamalazo. So just FYI, whenever you want to run into him, but he is a legend. So happy birthday, Juan Manuel. Feliz cumpleaños. And that's it for me, Mayor.
Thank you.
Good evening. First, I wanted to start out with congratulating the Super Grad. They did an amazing job. I was able to go out there for about an hour and got to watch kids getting prizes and eating and just having fun. And it's just a really safe environment for them. And so I'd really like to congratulate Sober Grad, along with all the graduates that we had just recently, 2 Saturdays ago? Yeah. But anyways, so they all did an amazing job, and just want to make sure that they know that, you know, they are in our thoughts, and hopefully they're off to doing really great things and coming back to our community and not staying away. I'm really happy to see that the ponds are getting cleaned. I get a call once a week, every Friday, asking about the pond. So I'm glad that, you know, that it's getting done right now. Also I also noticed today that they were doing some work on 12th Street and putting the lines for the bicycles and pedestrians. No lines in the middle yet. But I know that they're coming because Jamie said they were coming. But I know that 12 Walnut isn't on the map yet to do that, but yesterday, as I left the meeting with Councilmember Tipton and I was headed home, I actually went up on the curb because a car came over into my lane. So this is quite frequent. There's just no lines, and trying to, you know, what do? You just honk and get out of the way. There's nothing else I can do. And this happens a lot, especially down Walnut. And I believe probably we had a council member years ago, and she constantly asked for something to be done on 12th Street. And so I don't know what we need to do to get, you know, at least some lines on there or what we have to do, but we've got to make it safer. We have to make it safer. And we do have a lot more apartments coming open pretty soon, so it's really important. I've also had a concern about the big trucks over on 4th Street. They're parking alongside of the freeway on the other side. I'm wondering how they're even getting there. Are they driving through residential? That's the only way they can get there, is they have to drive through residential to park all alongside of the freeway. So that's a big concern. I don't know. Maybe they're leaving in the nighttime. I don't know. But if you could look into that, Chief, that would be great. I don't think I have anything else. No, that was it for me.
All right,
Thank
thank you
you.
very much. I just want to say I'm sorry I won't be able to attend the LULAC meeting. I do have a conflict. I've got to attend an AMBAG meeting on behalf of the city at the exact same time as that. So wish I could be there. Welcome to Greenfield Signs Are Up. They look great. If anyone has a contact at Caltrans, it'd be great to get that grass and and bushes down so we could see it, get a little better view on that. So the GHS graduate flags. I want to thank Superintendent Kata and Principal Matos. After I had several conversations, we were able to make that project happen, and they look great. I want to thank Manuel Ayala and Public Works for their hard work getting them up just in the nick of time. They were out there on Friday night, about 7:30, still putting up flags, so they would be up on Friday. So they would be ready for graduation on Saturday morning. So I really appreciate the extra effort there. So thank you. Next, I would like to see the flags up honoring the veterans before Veterans Day, if we could start working on that portion. So, thank you. If you're looking for things to do, our rec department and our science workshop have a lot of stuff happening this summer. There is a kids camp, there's a paint party, there's golf skills and techniques. There is a kayaking trip and a family camping trip. So if you're looking for something to do, reach out to the rec department or the science workshop. And I think that's what I got. Thank you very much. All right, we will move to the consent calendar. All matters listed under the consent calendar are considered routine and may be approved by one action of the city council unless a request for removal for discussion or explanation is received prior to the time council votes on the motion to adopt. I will open it up to public comments for the consent calendar. Anybody want to speak to any of those 3 items? Seeing none, do we want any of those items pulled for further discussion? I just need a correction on item I3 there, and I think some of those dates are not correct on that. So if you could look into maybe correcting those dates.
You're talking about the 2022?
Correct.
That would have been where they would have been. They would have, they would have been expired at that time, even though they're not expired at that time. These are two new districts that have never had anyone there.
Right.
And I did check with elections department.
So they are correct now?
Yeah.
Okay, all right, very good. I will entertain a motion to approve the consent calendar. So moved. I need a second. Been moved and second. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carries. Thank you. We'll move to mayor's presentations, proclamations, and communications and resolutions. Presentation by the youth commissioners and recognition of youth commissioners.
Certificates. We framed them, sorry, thank you. Good evening, Mayor and Council. Can you guys hear me?
Yes,
Yeah.
we can.
Thank you. I was hoping I can share my screen to have some pictures propped up. I don't know if, oh, there we go. Okay. Mhm. Okay, so these are just some pictures that will be playing in the background. Here to talk a little bit about Araceli Landa and Brianna Campos. They've been serving as our youth commissioners since June of 2023, so a full year now. I just want to express how proud we are to have worked with these two young ladies and to share a few details about the projects that they've worked on. Some of the things they've worked on since June 2023 is first off, they went through a summer paid leadership training here at City Hall. They learned about the city of Greenfield and basics on local government. They met with each department head and Mayor White and many of the council members to learn about their roles. They did some event planning. They were in charge of promoting volunteer opportunities for several events, as well as the setup and cleanup for those events. We know the impact that volunteerism has on an individual, an organization, and the community as well. So they spent a lot of hours planning and promoting efforts that would benefit their peers. They worked on the 2023 Greenfield Harps Festival. With the official festival flyer, they recruited and helped organize over 40 volunteers for the Harvest Festival. And they spent a lot of hours planning and promoting those efforts. So they also designed the scholarship opportunity outline. Our goal is to promote that scholarship opportunity in the 2024 Harvest Festival. So when we see that scholarship opportunity coming up this year, we can know that a huge part of the outline was, and also the emails that were started to attract people to donate to those scholarship funds was their most of it is outlined by these two young ladies.
They had a monthly broadcast that was temporarily interrupted by the planning of the 2024 South County Youth Summit. The planning of this event started with our youth commissioners getting together and inviting the other cities' youth councils to meet together and get to know each other. So just the idea of this youth summit coming from these from Greenfield's youth commissioners was really makes us proud of them. And hopefully next year they are talking about the ones who are part of the planning committee are talking about continuing this youth summit and growing it. So this summit was entirely youth led. So it was awesome to see these young leaders from Greenfield Council, Youth Council, Soledad, and Gonzalez really showing their public speaking skills at that summit and organizing their peers on where to go, what to do. The speeches that they gave, encouraging them to get involved was very motivating. They helped recruit and set up the youth council at the Greenfield High School. They also helped create some outlines for the future upcoming group of members. These young ladies really laid a strong foundation and set high standards for the next group of youth commissioners to uphold and build upon. With the work ethic they had, people really actually didn't believe that it was their first year ever on a youth council. They thought they had a lot of experience and started in their freshman year or something, but the other youth councils from other cities were very impressed by their leadership. I'll end with a few words about Araceli and Brianna. Araceli Landa joined as a youth commissioner because she wanted to make a bigger impact on her community as a young leader. We can confirm that she did that. She played a pivotal role in making the first ever South County Youth Summit happen with all the tasks that she was a part of bringing together. She created the official logo for the Youth Summit, the passports for the Youth Summit, which were a way for the youth to get to know others and interact with others. She also made the flyer, and she was in half of all the committees that were part of putting this summit together. Araceli is surprisingly good at composing professional emails, which this was necessary because she was communicating with a lot of organizations to plan the youth summit and other things within the city for different events. Her willingness to take the lead in projects speaks volumes of her passion as a young leader. She was also the opening speaker for the youth summit. And if you want to see her great public speaking abilities, you can get a glimpse of that on the Greenfield Youth Council Instagram page. She's a dedicated young lady. She proved it through her long hours of planning with the team, pushing through difficult decisions and pushing through those stressful days of trying to meet deadlines. We can already foresee that her characteristics are going to make her a valuable part of any agency that she works with in the near future. And I'm very curious to see how she uses her leadership skills, hopefully at our internship program in the next few terms. So thank you, Araceli. A little bit about Brianna. She joined because she wanted to learn more about local government and city politics, and she wanted to get more involved as a youth leader. Brianna proved her desire to get involved in many ways, specifically through her creativity throughout the year and her desire to get involved in she was a huge part of that creating of the flyers for a lot of our events, specifically a huge role in the Harvest Festival flyer. She did a lot of the video edits for social media and the flyers that sorry, I lost my spot here. She also designed the shirts for the Youth Summit, and I wish I had an example here, but those shirts were really cool, and I wish I had one. All the pictures are here. Awesome. She's involved in a lot of school clubs, yet she was committed to this youth council. And again, it speaks volumes of her passion as a young leader. Both Araceli and Brianna have shown what it means to lead with integrity and passion with the work ethic they had. We just can't wait to see what they do in their near future. And we hope to see them, as Councilmember Martinez brought up, see how they can give back to Greenfield in the near future. So with that, I'd like to invite them up to share a few words that they prepared for you.
Sorry, I was just mentioning if it would be too much for you to kind of highlight a little bit of it in Spanish. Just because I know tenemos a sus papás en la audiencia y qué más orgullo que quieran saber. Just a little bit.
Yes, that's gonna be tricky.
Whatever you want to pick. It could be just.
Okay.
Excelente trabajo.
Yes. Muchas gracias por estar aquí. Disculpe que mi español no está muy bien, pero sus hijas, Araceli y Brianna, son los padres de Araceli y Brianna. Gracias por estar aquí. Muy excelente esfuerzo que pusieron para este programa y tenemos mucho orgullo en todo el trabajo que ellas se esforzaron. So, muchas gracias. Ya sé que mucho de eso llega de los padres, el ejemplo que les dan los padres también. So, muchas gracias por dejar a sus hijas ser parte de este programa. Gracias.
First and foremost, I want to say thank you to the city council for giving Araceli and I this opportunity and believing in the program and the youth council as a whole. About a year ago, which I think it's a year now, Araceli and I began our summer paid internship with Fabiola and Angela, where not only we got to know more about department heads and interview many of you all, but learn more about ourselves. The youth council has given us both the opportunity to become more familiar with the workforce and help prepare us for our life from this point on. Becoming a youth commissioner has been one of the greatest experiences ever. Fabiola, I want to thank you for showing Araceli and I what a professional work environment should be. Thank you, Angela, who's not here, for teaching us how to problem solve. Thank you, Jose, for teaching us how to handle everything and not quitting on us even when we gave you headaches. Once again, thank you, City Council and City of Greenfield staff for believing in us. And last but not least, thank you, Ari, for making this experience one of a kind.
Thank you, Youth Council, for taking a chance on the Greenfield Youth Council. And thank you for having us here today. Working for the first ever Greenfield Youth Council as a youth commissioner has been a pleasure. There are only few jobs as fulfilling as this experience was. Working alongside Brianna Campos, who has been my rock, Jose, Fabiola, and Angela, has made me feel that teamwork is the most important aspect a team should hold. Without the hard work and dedication from each person on this team, all of our efforts would be futile. A memory that stands out to me as I'm standing here before you is meeting all the department heads, some of you, actually most of you, and interviewing you. Was like so great. I hope that future generations of youth in government can have an experience as great as the one Brianna and I have had. I hope you continue to support the Greenfield Youth Council and its future endeavors.
We also have their stoles that they graduated with, as you could see them wearing. So we're really happy about that. And that's all from us. And hopefully we can get a picture afterwards.
I have a couple certificates of recognition, but I also wanted to say a couple things first. It's always hard to be the first. So Thank you, girls, for laying a great foundation for future youth councils. Your leadership, getting the program off the ground is really appreciated. So great job. I have certificates of recognition. This certificate is proudly presented to Brianna Campos and Araceli Landa in recognition of your outstanding contribution and dedication as youth commissioners for the Greenfield Youth Council. Your commitment to leadership, community service, and excellence has made a significant impact on our community. On behalf of the city of Greenfield, we thank you for your hard work and setting the foundation of the Greenfield Youth Council program. Thank you again. I think we did it with everybody. Not that.
One, two, three.
¿Listos? Una, dos, tres.
Gracias.
Gracias. Sorry, thank you. ¿Listos? One, two, three. Okay.
Speak clearly.
Yeah.
And congratulations. All right, we will now move to presentation from Central Coast Community Energy. It's, you have a hard act to follow there, but all you have.
Top that, Judy Young.
Well, thank you and good evening, Mayor White, council members and Greenfield staff. I was very impressed with the presentation I just saw and the young ladies, so congratulations to them. My name is Judy Young. I'm the Senior Account Manager for member agencies with Central Coast Community Energy, and I thank you for this opportunity to present.
Welcome.
So I will quickly go over who 3CE is, and I'm sorry, I just need to change my view a bit so I can see what I'm presenting. Okay, I'll go over quickly who 3CE is because not everyone knows. We are a new government agency. We were formed about 6 years ago when all of these cities and counties came together and said, what if we purchased the electricity to serve our region? Could we do it better? As a local public agency, could we be competitive in price, make greater progress on renewables, and provide investment back into our communities? I'm here today to show you how we are doing and what benefits are being offered right here in Greenfield. As our agency has grown, our investment in communities has increased. Our budget for community energy programs in fiscal year 23-24 is $14 million, which are dollars that are available to the city and your constituents to help reduce emissions by electrifying vehicles and buildings. To date, on behalf of all of the cities and counties we serve, we have invested $2.8 billion in new renewable energy and energy storage projects, which are making the grid cleaner and helping the environment by reducing the fossil fuel emissions associated with power supply. Some of those projects include new technologies that are pushing the envelope towards 100% clean and renewable power, like a compressed air battery storage project, which will be the largest in the world of its kind. We have power purchase agreements in negotiation or in place to cover 80% of our annual load with renewable energy. The challenge is in bringing these projects online in a timely manner due to the current backlog in California around permitting and grid connection and delays in needed transmission upgrades. And yet so much progress is being made. If you haven't heard, the amount of renewable energy on the grid has been exceeding customer demand in California on nearly a daily basis this spring for as many as 9 hours a day. This is a huge accomplishment, and agencies like 3CE are very much a part of the reason why. Not only are the renewable projects we've contracted with contributing to the solution, but they are also achieving cost savings for our customers. And because of a decision made by our policy board last year, they are being evaluated based on their commitment to local community engagement, environmental protection, and workforce support. In addition to providing clean power, I also talked about providing direct investment. Some of our recent projects include helping to pay for the very first all-electric transit bus for the city of Guadalupe, for an all-electric school bus for the Orcutt School District, and for the inaugural Clean Air Express bus that serves riders in Santa Maria. All of these projects are reducing emissions that bring serious health impacts. We are helping to clean the air, protect our environment, and build better health outcomes for our communities. Another place we are investing is in agriculture. We provide funding assistance for all electric farm equipment to replace diesel-powered pumps, tractors, and more. We've helped big and small farms alike in all of the 5 counties we serve. And to date, specifically in the city of Greenfield, we have invested over $33,000 through energy programs. And we are currently working with Greenfield staff on fleet electrification projects. And I really want to emphasize the offers we have specifically for the city itself. As you know, California has strict mandates for electrifying fleets. This is a major undertaking for local governments, and we are here to help. We have funding to help you plan how you are going to make the transition, how many EVs you will need to purchase and when your vehicles will need to charge, where they will charge. And after your plan is complete, we have funding to help pay for the vehicles and the charging infrastructure that you will need. As I mentioned, Greenfield is currently taking part in these programs. We are so glad, and we encourage you to do more. We also offer funding to help cities adopt REACH codes, which go beyond state requirements to drive lower emissions in buildings. And I host a quarterly call for staff of the local governments that make up 3CE, where we go over all of these opportunities. And if any of you would like to learn more about what we offer, we are happy to set up a meeting. And the last thing I'll add is that while I focus tonight on the programs we offer to cities, we also have generous rebates and incentives available to all of our customers to help purchase electric vehicles, heat pump water heaters, and HVAC systems. The applications are on our website at 3cenergy.org. So I hope I have provided a good picture of what our agency is doing to bring clean energy and community investment to the city of Greenfield. This concludes my presentation, and thank you for having me.
Thank you very much. Does council have any questions? Well, thank you very much, Judy, for your presentation. We appreciate it.
Oh, well, thank you, and I apologize, my camera's not working.
Quite all right. Thank you. All right. Let's move on to public hearings. K1, adopt a resolution of the city of Greenfield approving the engineer's report regarding the proposed levy and collection of assessments for the city of Greenfield Landscape and Lighting Maintenance District 1, fiscal year 2024-25, and adopt a resolution of the city council City of Greenfield ordering the levy and collection of assessments within the City of Greenfield Landscape and Lighting Maintenance District 1 for fiscal year 24-25. Staff report, please.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. If it's all right, I'm just going to address all 6 of these at one time in one presentation. And then you can in turn open and close each of the 6 public hearings and act upon them independently. And if there's any questions about process, then our council is here to direct you in that. Of course, we do this every year, and last month, council voted to adopt a resolution citing the intent to hold today's public hearing. And this public hearing was noticed by published publication and in accordance with the act that created the districts, and also in Prop 218, which is an additional act that was an overlay that just makes sure that any assessment changes or any changes in it, any kind of public assessment or taxation meets some strict minimum standards. So as you know, we have 3 lighting and landscape maintenance districts and 3 streets and drainage districts. And what we're doing is updating those on an annual basis, typically applying a CPI, and then publishing in an engineer's report what the new assessment is. And then that becomes part of the public record and is made available for anybody that has inquiry. On the stated projects and the budgets, I'll just mention that the budgets were updated to reflect actual costs for labor and equipment. We have staff that are assigned to the maintenance district to perform some of the maintenance responsibilities. We also have some contract obligations. We have a Smith and Enright contract in the lighting and landscape districts to do basic maintenance in the green belts and the parks in those districts. And then we have some capital projects. We're caught up pretty much in the streets and drainage districts as we did a rejuvenation fog seal and restriping this last year. And we do have some money budgeted in case we have potholes open up or we have some failure or buckling of sidewalk, which happens on occasion. Also, we have projects for the lighting and landscape districts. Aside from the Smith and Enright contract, under special purchases, projects and studies, our funding that's proportioned by square footage of green space for the 3 districts to hire a consultant to do a detailed assessment of heavy maintenance that needs to be done. That's replacement of plant materials, irrigation systems, repair of fences that we own and have responsibility for, and also street lights repair. The CPI for this year was 2.4%. And that was uniformly applied to the various budget line items, which are in the staff reports. And that's all I have to present, and I'm available for any questions.
I will go ahead and open up the public hearing, see if we have anything on district number 1. Public hearing is open. Any comments?
And I'll just clarify that this is a District 1 for the landscape and lighting district. We also have a District 1 for the street and drainage.
We need to do one for each.
Yeah, so there will be a total of 6 public hearings, 1 for each of the K items on the agenda.
There's actually, oh, well, and so
I only see 6. K1 through K6 are the
Correct.
assessment districts, and each of them has 1 resolution.
there's 2 on each.
Oh, I see the slash. My apologies. Yeah, so I guess there's 12.
So do we do, well, we do 2
Yes.
public hearings. Okay. All right. I will close public hearing on lighting and maintenance district number 1. And bring it back to council to approve or make a motion on 2024-65.
And 66 as well. So each item will have one public hearing. There will be 6 public hearings. But each of them have 2 resolutions.
Okay, so we need we need a motion on both 2024-65 and 66. So moved. Need a second? Then moved and seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Right? It's approved. Those 2 were approved. Resolution of the city of Greenfield approving an engineer's report regarding their proposed levy and collection of assessments for the city of Greenfield landscape and lighting maintenance district number 2 fiscal year 24-25, and adopt a resolution of the city council of the city of Greenfield ordering the levy and collection of an assessment within the city of Greenfield landscape and lighting maintenance district number 2 for fiscal year 2024-25. We've had the staff report, so I'll go ahead and open the public hearing. Anybody wish to speak on this one? Not, I will close the public hearing. We'll bring it back to council for a motion on 2024-67 and 68.
Second.
Moving second, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes. Adopt a resolution of the city of Greenfield approving the engineer's report regarding the proposed levy and collection of assessments for the city of Greenfield landscape and lighting maintenance district number 3, fiscal year 2024-25, and adopt the resolution of the city council of the city of Greenfield ordering the levy and collection of assessments within the city of Greenfield landscape and lighting maintenance district number 3 for fiscal year 24-25. I will open the public hearing on that one.
Question.
Yes.
Just for clarification purposes, Doug, I know that you went through all of them, but just, for the transparency purposes, can you just clarify when you talked about the pothole money, set aside? Because I know folks are gonna hear that and they're gonna think right away, like, well, we've been complaining about all these potholes throughout the city, so can you be more specific? Just for transparency purposes.
Thank you. That's an excellent comment. So I can see that happening. So there's 3 streets and drainage maintenance districts, and any funds expended from the district funds must be spent within that district only. So we're talking about 3 very specific districts, specific areas. And basically, we've just allocated $20,000 for whatever may come up on an emergency basis in each of those 3 districts. For a total of 60,000, we might spend nothing, or we may spend all of it, or if something really strange happened, we'd come back for authorization to appropriate more funds. But that's what that item is. It's just good for us at this juncture to approve some amount so that staff can quickly respond to those items without coming back to council.
Also might want to clarify that those people in those districts are paying additional fees on their taxes.
That's right. You could loosely compare these maintenance districts to homeowners associations. They pay a fee, but however, it's an assessment that's collected in their taxes when they pay their taxes twice a year. And that goes into, comes back to the city and goes into the fund for the special district, and it's spent specifically for the purposes of the district.
So the public hearing is still open. Does anybody else wish to comment on that or question on it?
This is just a suggestion. When looking at a copy of a map that I was given, it's really hard to tell. Well, it doesn't even give the numbers of the district on the areas. It's just color coded and color coded. So it just as a suggestion to maybe, I don't know if it could be put up there on the screen. So when you talk about District 3, you know, what area are we talking about? Just a suggestion. It would just really help to see what area we're talking about.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments? None, I will go ahead and close that public hearing. Come back to council for comments, review, or action on 2024-69 and 7. Get a motion. Do you have a motion?
Second.
Motion and seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Move to K4. A resolution of the city of Greenfield approving the engineer's report regarding the proposed levy and collection of assessments for the city of Greenfield Street and Drainage District Number 1 for fiscal year 2024-25, and adopt a resolution of the city council, city of Greenfield, voting the levy and collection of assessments within the city of Greenfield Street and Drainage Maintenance District Number 1 for the year 2024-25. I will open the public hearing on that item. Comments? Close the public hearing. Come back to council for comments, review, and action. Move approval. Approval on 71 and 72. Do we have a second? And moved and seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye, opposed. Those two passed. K5, resolution, city of Greenfield approving the engineer's report regarding the proposed levy and collection of assessments for the city of Greenfield Street and Drainage District Number 2 for fiscal year 24-25, and adopt a resolution of the city council in the city of Greenfield ordering the levy and collection of assessments within the city of Greenfield Street and Drainage Maintenance District Number 2 for the fiscal year 2024-25. I will open the public hearing on that item. Those two items. And no comment. I'll close the public hearing and we have back to council for review action. Motion for approval. I need a second. Those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. And the final one, a resolution of the city of Greenfield approving the engineer's report regarding the proposed levy and collection of assessments for the city of Greenfield Street and Drainage District Number 3 for fiscal year 24-25, and adopt a resolution, city council, city of Greenfield ordering the levy and collection of assessments within the city of Greenfield Street and Drainage Maintenance District Number 3 for the fiscal year 24-25. I will open the public hearing on that one. Comments? Close the public hearing. And bring it back to council for comments, review, and action. Move approval. The second. Then moved and seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. All right. Those are taken care of. City council business, adopt a resolution of the city council of the city of Greenfield declaring the zero bid for receipt for 2 Ford Maverick XL Super Crew trucks. They will equal, may be purchased economically and satisfactorily in the open market. Staff report.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council. The Public Works Department released a request for bids on May 7th, 2024 for a quantity of 2 Ford Maverick XL Super Crew trucks or equal, and bids were due to the city clerk on May 21st, 2024. The request for bid was advertised at the following bid sites as well on the city webpage, Dodge Construction Network, CCBA, BidNet Direct, and it was also emailed directly to multiple dealerships and advertised in the Salinas Valley Tribune. The city received 0 bids for this request for bid. The city's purchasing policy, Municipal Code Section 3.12.0506 states the following: unacceptable bids or no bids received. After rejecting bids, the city council may determine and declare by resolution that the equipment, supplies, materials, or services may be more economically or satisfactorily purchased or secured in the open market and direct the purchase of such equipment, supplies, materials, or securement of services on the open market by direct negotiations. Staff is recommending that the city council approve the direct purchase of 2 Ford Maverick XL Super Crew trucks or equal. There's no financial impact as the city council has approved previously a transfer of $68,000 for the purchase of these 2 vehicles at the April 23rd council meeting. Question.
Right, any public comments on this item? Seeing none, I'll bring it back to council for comments, review and action. Questions?
So just out of curiosity, why do you believe you received no bids on these vehicles?
We actually don't know. We actually had, two preliminary non-formal bids given to us in advance so we could get an idea of how much we needed to transfer. We direct emailed the request for bid to those contacts, and we did not receive anything back from them either. So we actually don't know why we received no bids. We put it out to the same bid sites, the paper, the website, and direct email, just as we do all of our other bids.
So I'm gonna make an observation here about that. The vehicles that you're looking for are actually very highly in demand. And dealers are having a hard time keeping them in stock. And I believe that's part of the reason why we're receiving no bids for this, is the dealers can't keep them in stock. The problem with that means is if we go out on the open market, we're going to be paying an add-on price for these because dealers can get it.
So we actually, in conjunction, kind of parallel with coming to council, we did go out and get a formal quote from a dealership for these, and it does, the two trucks would be under budget.
Here,
Move forward on this. I think we need to use the vehicles if we're not getting the bids. This is a way of fulfilling the need there.
I would agree. So are we retiring 2 vehicles and replacing that these are going to be replacing?
So one is a new add to the fleet and one is a replacement. So there'll be some transfer time over because we'll have to get a,
I need a motion to adopt 2024-77.
So move.
Need a second? Moved and seconded. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes.
thank you.
All right, L2, adopt a resolution of the city council, city of Greenfield adopting a list of projects for fiscal year 2024-25 funded by SB1, the Road Repair and Accountability Act of 2017. Staff report, please.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Excuse me, I don't know why my throat's closing up tonight. This is another annual event, and you see this every year because we're blessed that in 2017, the state passed Senate Bill 1, also known as the Road Repair and Accountability Act, the RRAA. And there's certain requirements for us to qualify for an allocation. And it's an amount that is really based on our population. And right now it stands at about $500,000 a year that we get that can be used for public roads, streets, pedestrian, bicycle improvements. And as part of the requirements and accountability for receiving these funds, we need to present to them each year a resolution adopting a list of projects for the next fiscal year that we intend to fund and make certain promises and commitments that are contained in the resolution. And we typically have 2 or 3 projects and we keep them in a general nature, which they allow so that we have some flexibility, but we do have some targeted projects. And if you read through the projects 1, 2, and 3, project 1 is typically we use some of those funds each year to assist in funding street maintenance crews and associated administrative staff in order to maintain the streets. Project 2 is funding to assist with pavement repair in various neighborhoods, pedestrian and bicycle safety improvements. We specifically here mention as one of those, the Walnut Avenue project between 3rd and 13th Street, which is a project that is completely designed. It's permitted by Caltrans and it's in the queue to be advertised this fiscal year near the front end of this next fiscal year. And then project 3 also addresses general pedestrian bicycle safety improvements at local schools, which include items from focused safety studies. We typically do projects that the safety committee recommends that are vetted through that. And you've seen these in the past. One of the ones we specifically, or two things we specifically mentioned under this one, and that's year 3 of our pavement maintenance program, and also some parts of the 12th Street Improvement Project that's under construction. And I'm ready to answer any questions.
Great. I will open L2 up for public comment.
Okay, I apologize for my comment because maybe these discussions were held before. But it would be nice to know how it's decided what the priorities are going to be in terms of the projects that were mentioned. So I know that, for example, I've seen, especially like, well, in different places, but around my neighborhood, those curves that the red lines, they're really faded. You can't see them anymore, and people park there, I guess you could say, because they didn't see that's a red line there that you shouldn't be parking, and it does cause problems. But I'm also concerned about where children walk. Some areas like 3rd Street, people go racing through there, and there's always children trying to get to school. I don't know about those street bumps or something to slow people down. I'm really concerned when I see speeders, and I know those are areas where children cross to get to school. So those are just a couple comments. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm Robert Orquides. I have an issue with streets. I've been living 36 years on McDonald Way. And for years, I paid extra taxes for maintenance on the roads and stuff. And they've never done anything with the roads except for put a couple bumps on there. They're getting awful. They keep patching these potholes up, and it just tears them up again. So I think this area over here needs to be one of the priorities to get a new pavement put in, because it's really getting bad. And also, since I'm up here, I want to congratulate you guys for putting the signs up for Greenfield, except for the one over here, you can't see it because it needs to be mowed down and everything. But otherwise, they look good. Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. Looks like we have one online.
Hello, my
Yes,
name is Samantha Luna. Here to speak on the pavement situation. I know I've called a lot of times to get these potholes fixed, and like the gentleman said before me, they just get a little bit of what is it, like a filler, and it looks like it comes through again. We do have an issue with a lot of sidewalks that need to be put in. For example, in the new area that was built across the street from Starbucks, there's no sidewalk. Everybody walks. I know everybody has seen the people walking across the street. Very dangerous. I don't know what has to happen, or God forbid something bad happen, and then somebody's gonna get hurt, and then that's when we're gonna take action. I think that needs to be a priority. The exit from Walnut to go down, all of that is so bumpy. It needs to be taken care of, not just put a Band-Aid on it. I think it needs to be really smoothed out to make all of the entryways. There's a lot of trucks and trailers that pass through here that have just gone through it, and it needs to be dealt with. I don't know how much funds are allocated to this, but if this project here that exits and entrances need to be the first ones to be taken care of, I think, and main roadways that everybody accesses to enter and exit. I think those are the priorities for me. That everybody travels out of here to go work, and I think that something needs to be done. I don't know what can be done. I didn't hear the previous projects to know what's going on. I really wish that this could be sent in an email to everybody. The way that we get a bill, this should be sent out to give us an option, or maybe we need to go in person. I don't know, but I don't know if I'm talking too much, but some people don't listen because they don't want to go, and we say, oh, our voice is not heard, but we need to be heard. And I guess I'm trying to speak for the people here in Greenfield. And we need a lot of things that need to be fixed, but roadways are the first ones to come when we come on here from the freeway and you feel a bunch of bumps. Like that, something needs to be done in order to get this fixed. Who do we need to talk to, or what budget? Do we need a grant writer? There's so many questions, so many things that we need fixed here. Yeah, I'm done. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Any other comments? Not, I'll bring it back to council for comments, review, and action.
I had a comment, Mayor. I know this is great questions that we have. Thank you, Samantha, and thank you, Mr. Urquidez, for bringing your comments forward. But I know, Jamie, I'm always bothering you with social media. I'm bothering always everybody with social media. But it's really good. Doug mentioned SB1, which was part of our funds. And a lot of people don't remember, because I think at the time it was a big controversial topic. But maybe if we do like little pieces here and there in social media to remind folks, why did we get SB1? It was literally because of the public, a lot of elected officials that were behind it. It kind of raised their gas taxes. So a lot of folks that are complaining when it comes to gas taxes, that's basically where a lot of this funding came. And it's very specific into what areas it could be allocated or not. So thank you, Doug, because you did share that. But maybe, Jamie, if we just do like 3 pointers on social media, so folks know that, yes, these are great concerns, but when it comes to the SB1 funds, they're very specific on what we could use and what we could not use. And I think a couple of years back, or months, when we were talking about the funding of SB1 that was going to come into the city of Greenfield, I mentioned like how other cities have been putting up their posters announcing like, this is thanks to SB1 funds. So folks could remember, okay, that's specifically for the SB1 funding. There's more funding allocated that could be used for other projects, but specifically this area has to be used with the SB1 funds. And just to talk about the whole committee that you have, Chief, and that you mentioned, Doug, the traffic committee. I know that part of the allocation is also when it comes to like school safety. Can't remember the specific term, but I would really love to get the folks from the Safe Routes to Schools involved when it comes to these projects, because they were literally a whole year project, you know, working around schools, what the different schools in our community needed to make sure that the students were safe on their way home and to school. So maybe we could just get their input. I mean, it would be very beneficial because we don't want to waste the community's time feeling like, oh, we were not heard, even though this is something completely different, but just at least get their input. And I know, Jamie, you heard it with the sign with Mr. Urquidez, but yeah, just 3 pointers, letting them know this is why we got SB1 funds. These are why the requirements are so specific to what projects, because then you're going to get the same thing. I'm going to come back and complain, Jamie, what happened with my sign with the SB1 funds, but it's completely different.
Right, thank you. Any other comments or questions? All right, I need a motion to adopt or reject resolution 2024-78. Second, in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Right, thank you. Motion passes. L3, adopt a resolution of the city council, city of Greenfield, declaring that a nuisance exists in connection with the existence of weeds, hazardous vegetable growth, and refuge on certain properties within the city of Greenfield, and authorizing the city clerk to mail written notice. Staff report, please.
Good evening, council. Is this on? Okay.
Yep.
So tonight, you have a resolution where you'll decide if you're gonna declare a nuisance on 5 properties for basically what we call weed abatement and refuse abatement. And we've, I believe we started with like 30 properties this year. I will just let you know that we're about 2 weeks behind in our normal weed abatement schedule, and we did that because we got some late rains. So we wanted to make sure that people had the opportunity that if they got some grow back, that they could take care of that. So we tried to go the extra mile there. In addition to that, this year we also sent out an additional letter letting them know that if they didn't get their properties abated in time, we would be here. You've seen the staff report. I think at this point, this is fairly routine, you know, that we go to great lengths to try and communicate social media, just heads up letters, putting things in the water bill flyers, et cetera, to let folks know. And I'm seeing around town, most people have changed and they're making this part of their yearly cleanup. But as always, we've got a few. So this year we have 5. I went out and checked them this afternoon and they still are not abated. What this means is if you declare their property a nuisance, we will send them a certified letter and advising them that they need to take care of the abatement issue. And if they don't, at the next council meeting, we'll be back and they'll be deciding, the council will be deciding as to whether or not they will order the fire chief to abate the property, enter the property and abate it. Typically we end up with like 1 or 2 after that, after we post them and they get the certified letter. So we're hoping that that'll be the case, or maybe we get 0 this year. With that, I'll just open it up to you to see if you have any questions for me.
All right, I'll go ahead and open it up for public comment on this one. Seeing none, I will bring it back to council for comments, review, and action. Questions?
Yes, I had a question, Mayor. Chief, when it comes to I know that this is for the weed abatement for the weeds, but I know that some community members have also complained regarding like just abandoned property, like debris on the property, not just the weeds. That's even more hazardous, like pieces of wood, just random people dumping garbage in that property in general. Would that be part of the mail out letter that you send out too?
Yeah,
Or just targeting more like the weeds that
it would be, and our ordinance is actually designed as like a year-round ordinance for that purpose. Because we don't want people accumulating, you know, piles of mattresses and other types of garbage. And we do reach out. I've probably sent out about 3 or 4 letters outside of weed abatement season, just contacting people. I will just throw out there though, if there are any questions or concerns, contact me and I'll follow up on them. And Councilmember Martinez, your comment earlier about the stores, we do inspections, not to deviate away from this topic, but the same point is that if someone has a concern, please reach out and we'll check it. Okay. Thank you.
Any other comment, questions? I just want to say I'm happy it's 5. I've seen, years gone by, it was more like 15 or 20. So I was much of people. Thank you for your hard work on that. All right, I need a motion to adopt 2024-79. So move. I need a second. When you need a second, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, motion passes. L4, adopt a resolution of the City Council, City of Greenfield, approving appropriations for a general fund, enterprise fund, special revenue funds, capital projects fund, and debt service funds budgets for fiscal year 2024-25. Staff report, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The item before you is our annual budget for next year, fiscal year 24-25. It incorporates the general fund, special revenue funds, internal service funds, capital projects, debt service, and enterprise funds, which are water and wastewater funds. Over the past 2 months, the City Council and the public have reviewed and discussed many aspects of the proposed budget. We had a budget overview at a regular council meeting on the 28th of May. And then we had a budget workshop on the 6th of June, which was last Thursday. Through this process, we've reviewed staff proposals, departmental budgets, prioritize capital projects, and prioritize personnel additions. This item is the first formal request of council to approve the spending plan for the city of Greenfield. All of the subgroups in the document, the general fund, special revenue funds, all those, they're included, but the main focus is on the general fund because that's where most of the money and spending occurs, especially discretionary spending. The general fund consists of 5 individual funds in our set of books, as it were. Fund 100, Fund 102, Fund 105, 106, and Fund 220. I'm not going to go into details there. That's all in the staff report. In general, what we've got is for the general fund, which is all those funds combined, we have revenues anticipated to be about $21.4 million and expenditures totaling about 21.3 million dollars. We have 175,000 surplus, which if you recall, when we talked about the CIP budget, the general fund, if we were able to, if the council approves funding all of the CIPs that we anticipate, it would require around $140,000 of general fund money. The other 7 to 8 million is provided by either other funds or grants. Interestingly enough, we had a call regarding walkways on Walnut Avenue, I believe, and SB1 funds. One of the potential capital improvements, and it's listed as the Walnut Avenue pedestrian plan, around $850,000 that would be using both Measure X and SB1 funds. So it directly, I believe it directly addresses the community members' concern. So we've got $7.6 million worth of CIP that's anticipated being funded by funds other than the general fund, and including grants. About 140, little north of 140,000 of the general fund monies to fund 2 projects, capital projects. The citywide generators, which is $965,000 worth of generators that the city would put in around $96,000, as well as the Patriot Park Dog Park, which is about $222,000 total spend. 44,000 would come from the general fund. The only personnel item that we are anticipating is an IT technician, help for Ed to run these meetings as far as on a technical basis, as well as help out with the heavy load that he's been shouldering for the last few years by himself. There is another item that was brought up at the workshop, and it has to do with ADA improvements, because that came up earlier at the first discussion that we had. Staff has looked into what it would cost, we think, potentially to address the issues that were brought up, specifically a swing at Rosas Robichaudi Park, as well as a number of other things. We did a couple of things. We found that might cost around $60,000 to take care of those things, but we also found that ADA projects, let's put it that way, it's not just in the parks, it's on the streets, it's in infrastructure, it's in city buildings. As ADA has kind of transformed over the years, the rules have changed. Different rules apply to different ADA improvements depending on when they were actually completed. And we should have a plan, I think it's called an ADA transition plan, that should have been developed long ago. We can't find one. And so we think it's probably very prudent as a starting point to come up with an ADA transition plan so that we can get an inventory of all of our ADA improvements, find out, document when it was done, so we would be able to tell what rules they should follow. And then get that taken care of before we start onesie twosies fixing what we've got right now. So that's something that we don't know exactly how much it's going to cost, but it might be between $50,000 and $80,000. How we're going to fund it, not quite sure yet. But we want to put that on your radar. It's not necessarily in the budget because it's just something that we talked about, but it's something that we will come back to council with. And if you'd like us to, we can get started on that so we can kind of button up on the ADA thing. So it is a balanced budget. It's a tight budget. And as is the tendency for budgets, they tend to change over time. This one's going to be no different. The way it is different this year is in the previous 6 or 7 years that I prepared budgets for the city, we've had an excess of revenues from a variety of reasons. But the good thing is we've had a lot of things that we needed to spend it on. This year is different in that those revenues aren't as big as they have been in the past. And we've actually built up a standard base or a foundation of services for the city that is using our current amount of money that we bring in, which is what we're supposed to do. So we like to have a cushion, and in 2 meetings, we talked about the cushion that we have, either fund balance wise or cash wise. It's a pretty good balance that we've got. And so we think, while this is a tight budget, we're going to monitor it very closely. Things change all the time. I try to be very conservative about revenues and expenditures. I think if we watch things very closely, things should be fine. But if we're looking to expand services in a large way for particular whatever projects or programs, we really need to think twice. We can certainly talk about it, but we do need to think about very, very seriously about how much things would cost. So that's my presentation, and I would love to hear any questions you might have.
Great. First, I'll go ahead and open it up for public comments on L4.
The ADA project, is that include handicap crossings on the streets?
It does.
Well, we're having a problem with people parking in the handicap zone on the curbs. I had a car over here that's been parked there for 4 days. I finally came into the police department this morning, reported it. They yellow tagged it, but it's still there. But yeah, there's not enough parking in this area over here that people do park in the handicap zone where you can't, if you're in a wheelchair or lift, you can't maneuver around it. So I just wanted to bring that up because it's a nuisance in my area.
Yeah, and you went to the right place. The police department will make sure things get done.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Any other comments? If not, I'll bring it back to council comments, review, and action. Any comments from council?
So I've just got a quick comment. It's interesting watching the fire budget grow over the years. Having sat on the fire district board of directors for a couple of years and realizing that we were doing all this on a $650,000 budget for so many years, just shows how understaffed and how underfunded we were being. And I'm glad to see that our fire department is actually getting kudos from everybody from our community, from everybody else that talks to glad to see that we're keeping up the good work on that.
Others? I just had a quick comment. I want to thank Evelyn Mullen and Paul for taking a lot of time reviewing this budget with me. There's been a lot of time over the last couple of weeks answering a lot of questions. So this is a really tight budget, less than 200,000 balance on a $21 million budget is really, really tight, but not a lot of reserves. So reviewing the budget is one of the most important things we do as council. The budget sets our programs and our priorities for the whole year. So, I mean, we really should keep a close eye on it. As you can see by the capital improvements list, we have many projects going on, and I think the capital improvements with the outside funding is where we've got to focus our efforts and get the most we can for our investments. And we're making progress on a lot of things, but we've got to stay focused on the things that we can address. I personally think we should just go ahead and approve the budget, but anybody else has any questions? Entertain a motion.
I move to approve the budget.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you, Council.
All right. We'll move to brief reports on conferences, seminars, and meetings attended by mayor and city council. League of California Cities, Monterey Bay Division.
I don't have one for the Monterey Bay, but the annual conference is right around the corner. Many of the hotels are already completely booked. So please let me know if you plan on attending.
Transportation Agency for Monterey County.
We had a meeting at the end of May. And basically all we're discussing right now is still Highway 68 corridor. The railroad tracks in Seaside. It's kind of been the same things over and over right now. I think we're gonna get past this, but there's just been a lot of public input and so it's taking a little bit longer.
All right. Association of Monterey Bay Area Governments, that's me. We have a meeting tomorrow night. 6 o'clock. We haven't had one since had this item come up before. Salinas Valley Solid Waste Authority.
Meeting is next Thursday night. The big topics are going to be the future of Crazy Horse Canyon and the possibility of reopening a transfer station.
Monterey Salinas Transit. Jeez.
But I do want to announce that MST does have their new chair, which is the amazing San City Mayor, Marianne Carbone. She is now the new chair of MST.
Excellent. Good, great job. South Salinas Valley Broadband Authority.
I believe we were supposed to have had a meeting next Monday, but it's been canceled now. So I believe our next meeting is August.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think they need to do it because we need to make a decision on executive director. But yeah, funding the executive director. Yeah, so it'll be this.
Okay.
Monterey County Mayor's Association, we met last Friday. We had a joint meeting with city managers. There was a lot of discussion about the county budget and about the state budget. So things are tight all over, I think. So. All right. Salinas Valley Mayors and Managers Group. We haven't had a meeting. We're having a meeting in Greenfield on the 24th. So we got that set up. Planning Commission.
No, not this time. Oh, no, I'm sorry. They did. They approved a map, a subdivision map for the Walnut Avenue specific plan. So now they've got 10 lots instead of 1. And I believe a couple of them are in escrow at this time.
Great.
Yes, that's good news.
So maybe some additional development coming there soon. All right. City Attorney report.
I have nothing to report.
City manager report.
Yes, I'd just like to say thank you very much to council, Mr. Mayor, for your patience through this budget process. Thank you for your suggestions, your kind words, and once again, your patience. I appreciate it. You'll be getting books, probably not the ones that look like the ones that we just put out this past week, but they're going to be from ClearGov. The whole idea of going to ClearGov was to make it simpler. First year isn't simpler, but we got through that.
Wasn't
and-
simpler.
And now we've got hopefully the book looks nice. So Evelyn, tomorrow or the next day, we'll be putting things together and hopefully getting those things printed out. They will be by default PDFs, but if y'all want hard copies, one person does, we can get hard copies too. We'll make 5.
Great.
Thank you.
Very good. Thank you very much. That I will adjourn the meeting. Thank you very much.